Kara's hand cracked across my face before the photographer even lowered his camera. "Give me the keys, Lee. Now." The wedding hall went silent. 200 guests stopped mid-sip, mid-laugh, mid-whatever people do when they're pretending oysters taste good. My cheek burned. Not from pain. I've been hit harder by loose 2x4s and treated kinder by city inspectors. No, the burn came from knowing my son Evan was standing 3 feet away in his rental tux, saying absolutely nothing. "The apartment keys," Kara said again, louder this time. She held out her manicured hand like I owed her rent. "For the first dance with our new life." I looked at that hand. French tips. Kara had borrowed it for photos. Borrowed. That's what she called it when she took things. "No," I said. Her smile cracked like cheap porcelain. "Excuse me?" I said no. The slap came faster the second time. Someone gasped. A bridesmaid. Maybe Kara's cousin. Hard to tell them apart under all that makeup and hairspray. The impact knocked my glasses crooked. I straightened them slowly, taking my time, letting everyone see the red mark blooming on my jaw. Dax moved in from the side. Kara's security manager. 6'3", neck like a fire hydrant, the kind of guy who calls himself a consultant, but really just knows how to make problems disappear. He put a hand on my shoulder. "Let's get you some air, old man." "I'm fine where I am." "Mr. Marden." His fingers dug in. "Don't make this difficult." I pulled out my phone. One call. That's all it took. "What are you doing?" Kara's voice pitched higher. The microphone by the bandstand picked it up, sent it bouncing off the waterfront windows. "Who are you calling?" I didn't answer. The phone rang twice. Then a voice I hadn't heard in 6 months came through clear as a bell. "Lee? That you?" "Captain, I need a favor." "Name it." "Remember that wedding invitation I sent? The one you said you couldn't make?" A pause. Then, "I remember." "I'm changing your mind." "Give me 20 minutes." I hung up. Kara was staring at me like I'd pulled a gun. Dax's hand was still on my shoulder, squeezing hard enough to leave prints. The wedding photographer had his camera up again, snapping away. Good. Let him. "You're done here," Kara said. Her voice had that edge it got when things weren't going according to her carefully staged plans. "Evan, get your father out of here." My son finally moved. He took 1 step forward, then stopped. His mouth opened, closed, opened again like a fish drowning in air. "Dad," he managed, "maybe you should just go." Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have handed over the keys to my apartment, the place where his mother died, where I still heard her voice in the kitchen every morning. Maybe I should have let Kara win this round like I'd let her win all the others. But I was tired. 58 years old, knees shot, back worse, and tired right down to my bones. "I'm staying," I said. The band started playing again. Somebody's idea of damage control. "Isn't She Lovely" pumped through speakers that cost more than my truck. Guests turned back to their drinks and conversations, pretending nothing had happened. That's what people do. They look away. They always look away. Kara leaned close enough that I could smell her perfume, something expensive that probably came in a bottle the size of my thumb. "You just made the list," she whispered. I smiled. First time all night. "I built the lists." The doors opened 17 minutes later. Captain Seamus O'Leary walked in wearing his dress blues and dragging an oxygen concentrator behind him on a small cart. The tubing ran up to his nose. His hands shook slightly, but his back was straight as a mast. 70 years old and dying by inches, but still every bit the man who'd run into a burning school bus 20 years ago and carried out 12 kids, including a terrified 15-year-old girl named Kara Whitfield. The hall went quiet again, different quiet this time, the kind that happens when something bigger than champagne and shrimp cocktails walks through the door. O'Leary's eyes found mine across the crowd. He nodded once and started forward. People moved out of his way like water parting. He walked past the gift table, past the ice sculpture melting into its drip tray, past Kara's mother clutching her phone like it might save her, straight to where I stood next to the stage. He held out his hand. I took it. Lee. Captain. He pulled me into a hug. Not gentle, real. The kind that says we've both seen too much to waste time on anything fake. When he stepped back, his eyes went to the mark on my face. Who struck him? His voice carried. Old training. You don't run into burning buildings by asking nicely. The band stopped playing. For real this time. The drummer's stick hit the snare and stayed there, one final punctuation mark on the whole expensive farce. Nobody answered. O'Leary turned slowly, looking at faces. Some people met his eyes. Most didn't. He settled on Kara, standing by the stage in her white dress, with its custom beading and train that kept getting caught on chair legs. Kara, she smiled, that professional smile she used on Instagram, the one that said, trust me, love me, buy what I'm selling. Captain O'Leary, I'm so glad you could make it. We were just having a small family disagreement. You know how weddings are. I know how family is, O'Leary said. I know how this city stood up for you when you needed it. Every firefighter, every cop, every person who sent prayers and flowers when you were lying in that hospital bed. We all stood up for the girl we saved. Kara's smile stayed fixed, but something behind her eyes started calculating. She'd built her whole brand on being that girl, the survivor, the one the city loved. Her event planning business ran on it. Every charity gala, every fundraiser, every ribbon cutting came with a side of her story. Of course, she said smoothly. I'll never forget what you did. Then you'll understand, O'Leary said, that I don't forget either. He turned back to me. Lee, you need anything, you call. Day or night. I don't sleep much anymore anyway. I will. He patted my shoulder, nodded to the crowd, and walked back out. The oxygen concentrator rattled along behind him like a small loyal dog. The doors closed. The silence stretched so long I could hear the ice sculpture dripping. Then phones came out. All at once, a dozen screens lit up, recording, texting, posting. The photographer was grinning behind his camera. This was the shot. Not the first dance, not the cake cutting. This. The moment Kara Whitfield Marden's carefully constructed image met something it couldn't hashtag away. Kara's face had gone pale under her makeup. She looked at Evan. My son looked at the floor. We need to talk, she said to me. Not loud, not for the crowd. Tomorrow, early. I work early, I said. District Courthouse. I'm the night maintenance supervisor. I'll be in Judge Harrow's chambers around 7, fixing the chair casters. You know where that is? Her jaw tightened. She knew. Everyone in Portland knew Judge Ruth Harrow. Retired district judge, beloved public figure, the woman who'd presided over half the custody battles and civil disputes in Cumberland County for 30 years. The woman who'd sentenced drunk drivers and praised good parents and never, not once, let anyone get away with hurting people who couldn't fight back. We'll be there, Kara said. I picked up my coat from the back of a chair. Looking forward to it. I walked out into the Portland night. The waterfront smelled like salt and old fish and diesel from the ferries. Wind came in off Casco Bay, cold enough to remind you winter was always closer than you thought. I pulled my collar up and headed for my truck. Behind me, the band started up again, trying to save the night. Good luck with that. While you're here, hit the hype button, don't forget to subscribe, and support this channel with a like. And tell us below, have you ever faced something like this? The district courthouse smelled like lemon cleanser and old arguments at 6:45 in the morning. I let myself in through the maintenance entrance, signed the log, and took the back stairs to the 3rd floor. My knees complained. They always did. Union carpenter for 30 years, then this, pushing a mop and fixing whatever broke. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady, and it gave me access to places most people never saw. Judge Harrow's chambers were at the end of the hall. The door was unlocked. She always left it that way for me on Thursdays. I'd been fixing her chair for 3 weeks now. The casters kept sticking, making this grinding noise every time she rolled back from her desk. She'd complained about it to facilities. They'd sent me. I had my toolbox open, the chair upside down on the floor when she walked in. "Lee, coffee?" "Black, if you're offering." She poured 2 cups from the pot on her credenza. Real china cups, not the styrofoam the rest of us used. Judge Harrow believed in standards. "How was the wedding?" she asked. "Memorable." I saw. She handed me the coffee and pulled up a video on her phone. Someone had posted it already. The slap, O'Leary walking in. The whole thing, 40,000 views and climbing. "That's your daughter-in-law?" "That's her." "And you called Captain O'Leary?" "I did." She watched the video again, then set her phone down. "You know what this looks like, right? From a certain angle." "Elder abuse." "Elder abuse," she agreed. "Public assault. Witnessed by 200 people and recorded by at least a dozen phones. All because you wouldn't hand over your apartment keys." "She wants me out." "Why?" I took a sip of coffee. It was good, better than the break room sludge. "That's what I'm trying to figure out." Judge Harrow sat in one of the leather chairs, usually reserved for attorneys. She gestured to the other one. "Sit. Let's talk like people, not employee and whoever I am when I'm not wearing the robe anymore." I sat. The leather creaked. Everything in this room was old and well-made, built to last by people who knew their craft. Like me, before my back gave out. "You fixed my chair 3 weeks ago," she said. "Then last week, then this week. There's nothing wrong with the chair, is there? Casters are fine. So why do you keep coming back?" I set my cup down. "Because I needed to be here this morning, and I needed you to see me here." "Explain." "My daughter-in-law is coming here at 7. She wants to talk. Clear the misunderstanding," she called it. "I figured if she saw me sitting in your chambers, in this courthouse, it might remind her that some things aren't as simple as she thinks." Judge Harrow smiled. Small. Knowing. "You're using me. I'm asking for a witness. There's a difference. Usually." The door opened without a knock. Kara walked in first, Evan trailing behind like a boat caught in her wake. She stopped when she saw me sitting in the chair, coffee in hand, looking for all the world like I belonged there. Her face drained. "Judge Harrow." Kara's voice was professional, smooth, the one she used when she wanted something. "I apologize for the intrusion. I was hoping to have a private word with my father-in-law." "In my chambers," Judge Harrow said. "I was told he'd be here." "He is here, because I invited him." The judge stood up. She was shorter than Kara by 4 inches, but right then she seemed to fill the room. "Would you like to know why?" Kara's smile stayed fixed. "I'm sure there's a perfectly good reason." "There is. I watched a video this morning, 40,000 views so far, shows you striking this man at a public event. I'm a retired judge, Miss Whitfield Marden, but I'm still an officer of the court, and what I saw in that video concerns me. It was a family matter." "Assault is never a family matter. It's a crime." Evan finally spoke. "Judge, with respect, you don't understand the situation." "Then explain it." Silence. Evan looked at Kara. Kara looked at the floor. "The keys," I said. "Tell her about the keys." Kara's head snapped up. "That's private." "Nothing's private anymore," I said. "Not after last night. So tell the judge why you need my apartment keys so badly you were willing to slap me in front of 200 witnesses." More silence. Judge Harrow waited. She was good at waiting. Judges are. Finally, Kara said, "It's about security. Lee lives alone. We're concerned for his safety. If something happened, we'd need access." "That's a lie," I said. "Dad." Evan's voice held a warning. "It's a lie and you know it. You want me out of that apartment. Have for 6 months. Ever since your wife decided she needed an investment property for her business." Kara's professional mask cracked slightly. That's not what this is about. Then what is it about? She looked at Judge Harrow. Is there attorney-client privilege in this conversation? I'm not your attorney, the judge said. I'm not anyone's attorney. I'm a private citizen who happens to have chambers in this courthouse because I volunteer with the Veterans Woodworking Program. Lee here helps us fix the equipment. That's the extent of our official relationship. Unofficial? Kara asked. Unofficially, I've known Lee for 3 years. He built the tables we use for our workshops, donated his time and materials. He's a good man, and I don't like seeing good people pushed around. Judge Harrow walked to her desk and picked up a folder. I took the liberty of printing out some information this morning. Maine's Protection from Abuse Statute, elder abuse reporting requirements, tenant rights in owner-occupied buildings, all public information. Anyone can access it. She held out the folder. I took it. If you were to file for a temporary protection order, she said, citing the assault last night and any subsequent intimidation or harassment, the court would likely grant it, especially with video evidence and 200 witnesses. What would that do? I asked. It would bar Miss Whitfield Marden from coming within 300 feet of you or your residence for at least 10 days, possibly longer pending a hearing. It would also create a public record that could be cited in future proceedings. Kara's face went from pale to red. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. Elder abuse is taken very seriously in this state, as is assault. I barely touched him. You struck him hard enough to leave a mark visible on video. That's not barely. That's evidence. Evan put a hand on Kara's shoulder. She shrugged it off. This is ridiculous, she said. Lee, be reasonable. We can work this out. I'm listening, I said. Give us the spare key, that's all. Just the spare. You keep yours. We keep ours. Everyone's happy. Why do you need it? I told you. Security. Tell me the real reason. Her jaw tightened. You're being paranoid. Am I? I looked at Evan. Son, why does your wife need my apartment key? Evan opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. The fish drowning in air routine, same as last night. Because, Kara said, her voice sharp as broken glass, we're planning for the future. Your future. You're not getting any younger, Lee. At some point, you're going to need help. We're just trying to be prepared. Prepared for what? For when you can't take care of yourself anymore. Judge Harrow made a small noise. Not quite a laugh. Not quite disapproval. Something in between. Miss Whitfield Marden, she said, I'm 67 years old. I've heard every variation of that argument in my courtroom. It never ends well for the person making it. With respect, Judge, this isn't your business. You made it my business when you walked into my chambers. You can walk back out, of course, but Lee stays. And if he asks me for advice on filing a protection order, I'll give it to him. Purely as a concerned citizen, you understand. Kara's hands were shaking. Barely visible, but I saw it. She saw me seeing it. Come on, Evan, she said. We're leaving. They walked out. Kara's heels clicked on the marble floor, fast and angry. Evan hesitated at the door, looked back at me, then followed his wife without a word. The door closed. Judge Harrow poured more coffee. That went well. Think she'll back off? No, I think she'll get meaner. People like that always do. She handed me a fresh cup. File the paperwork, Lee. Create a record. You're going to need it. I hate lawyers and courtrooms. I know, but you work in one. You know how the system operates. Use it. I took the coffee. She said I'd own his hallway by Friday. Who did? Kara. Yesterday, before she left, whispered it, like a threat. Judge Harrow nodded slowly. Then I'd suggest you make sure she doesn't own anything by Thursday. The HOA meeting at my apartment building happened every third Tuesday at 7 p.m. in the community room. Fluorescent lights, bad coffee, folding chairs that squeaked, and Moira Hennessy running the show like a general, planning a very polite war. Moira was 60, Irish, and utterly without mercy when it came to building regulations. She'd been on the HOA board for 12 years. She knew every bylaw, every exception, every legal loophole in the main Condominium Act. She also ran the neighborhood Facebook group, which meant she knew everyone's business before they did. I'd called her Monday morning, told her I needed a favor. She'd said, "I heard about the wedding. You want me to destroy her?" Not destroy, just slow down. Same thing, really. Now we sat in the community room with 8 other residents, going through the agenda, parking permits, snow removal contracts, the broken light in stairwell B, standard stuff. Then Moira cleared her throat. "Item 7, she said, building access and security." I pulled out my phone, set it on the table. Recording. Maine was a one-party consent state. As long as I was part of the conversation, I could record it. Legal. Clean. "We've had some concerns," Moira continued, "about non-residents having access to the building. Specifically, people using resident keys without supervision." Mrs. Patel, who lived 2 floors up, raised her hand. "I saw someone taking photos in the lobby last month. Professional setup, lights, backdrop, the works. They said they had permission." "From who?" Moira asked. "Cara Whitfield Marden. She lives on the 4th floor, right?" "No," I said. "She doesn't. She's married to my son, who used to live here before he moved to her place. She's never been a resident." "But she has keys," Mrs. Patel said. "Not anymore," Moira said. She pulled out a printed stack of papers. "According to Building Bylaws, Section 12, Paragraph 4, all keys must be registered with the HOA. Non-residents cannot possess keys unless they're designated caregivers with written authorization on file." She looked at me. "Lee, do you have any non-resident caregivers?" "No." "Have you filed any key authorization forms?" "No." "Then technically, any keys in the possession of non-residents are in violation of building policy." The door opened. Evan walked in, phone to his ear. Behind him, I heard Cara's voice on speaker. "Just tell them it's a misunderstanding," she was saying. "We have keys for safety reasons." Evan saw me, saw the phone recording on the table. His face went grey. "I'll call you back," he said into the phone and hung up. "Evan." Moira's voice was pleasant. "Good of you to join us. We were just discussing building security." I heard. He pulled out a chair and sat. "Look, this is silly. My dad needs help. We have keys in case of emergency." "What kind of emergency?" Moira asked. "I don't know. Medical, fire, whatever." "Are you trained in emergency response?" "No, but..." "Does your father have a medical condition that requires immediate intervention?" "No, but what if he did? What if he fell? What if he couldn't get to the phone?" "Then," Moira said, "we'd call 911 like civilized people. The fire department can get through any door in 4 minutes. Your keys don't make you faster than trained paramedics." "This is ridiculous." "What's ridiculous," Mrs. Patel said, "is your wife using our lobby as a photo studio without permission. She borrowed my Christmas wreath last year. For content, she said. I never got it back. That's not..." "And she left lights set up in the stairwell that I tripped over," added Mr. Chen from 3A. "My daughter twisted her ankle on a backdrop stand someone left by the elevator." Evan looked at me. "Dad, call this off." "I didn't call anything on," I said. "I'm just sitting here." "You know what you're doing." "What am I doing?" He didn't answer. The door opened again. Cara walked in, heels clicking, phone in hand. She saw the room, saw the recording phone, saw Moira's predatory smile, and stopped. "What is this?" "HOA meeting," Moira said cheerfully. "Public session. You're welcome to observe, but only residents can vote." "Fine, I'm observing." Cara sat down next to Evan, crossed her legs, and aimed her professional smile at the room. "Continue." Moira did. "As I was saying, we've had multiple complaints about unauthorized building access. I move that we implement a new policy requiring all non-resident keys to be returned and reissued only with written authorization, proof of relationship and a stated purpose. Second, said Mrs. Patel. Discussion? Moira looked around the room. Nobody spoke. Hearing none, all in favor. 8 hands went up, including mine. Opposed? Silence. Motion carries. All non-resident keys must be returned to the building manager by Friday at 5 p.m. Anyone found in possession of unauthorized keys after that time will be subject to trespass notification. Kara's smile cracked. You can't be serious. Completely serious. It's in the bylaws. Lee, do you want to file for a key audit? I do, I said. Then it's official. Evan, Kara, you'll need to return any keys you have by Friday. The building manager will update the logs. Kara stood up. This is harassment. This is policy, Moira said. If you have concerns, you're welcome to appeal to the full board next month. Until then, the motion stands. We'll see about that. Kara grabbed her phone and walked out. Evan followed, shoulders hunched like he was walking into a storm. The door closed. Moira poured herself more coffee from the pot in the corner. That woman is exhausting. You enjoyed that, I said. Every second. What else do you need? Protection order, I said. I'm filing tomorrow. Good. Want me to serve as a witness? Would you? Lee, I'd testify at The Hague if it meant watching her face when she realizes the world doesn't work the way she thinks it does. I picked up my phone and stopped the recording. Thanks, Moira. Don't thank me. Thank your late wife for teaching you how to pick your battles. She raised her coffee cup. Maureen would be proud. Maybe she would. Maybe she'd tell me I was being petty. Hard to say. Maureen had been gone 3 years. Some days I still heard her voice in the apartment, telling me to eat something, to take my pills, to stop being such a stubborn jackass. I walked back to my unit on the 6th floor. The hallway was quiet. Most people were home by now, behind their doors, living their lives. I unlocked my apartment and stepped inside. The message light on my phone was blinking. 7 messages, all from Kara. I didn't listen to them. I just saved them. Evidence. Judge Harrow had been right. People like Kara always got meaner. And I was going to need proof of exactly how mean. I made myself dinner. Microwaved soup and bread. Sat at the table where Maureen and I used to sit. The place felt too big for one person. Always had since she died. But it was mine. Bought and paid for. Every mortgage payment I'd made working union jobs. Every repair I'd done myself. This place was built with my hands and my time. Nobody was taking it from me. The phone rang. Not Kara this time. A number I didn't recognize. Mr. Marden, this is Thomas Regal. I'm Evan's supervisor at the construction company. I know who you are. Good. Then you'll understand when I say that what happened at your HOA meeting tonight is a problem. How's that a problem? Because Evan is a project manager on a flagship development. His reputation matters. And right now, there are videos circulating showing his wife in a very unflattering light. That's not my problem. It becomes your problem when it affects our company. We have investors, clients, people who care about image. Then maybe you should talk to Kara about her image. I'm talking to you, Mr. Marden. I'm asking nicely. Let this go. Work it out with your son privately. Don't drag his professional life into your family drama. I was quiet for a moment. Then I said, Mr. Regal, do you know what I do for a living? I'm aware you work maintenance. District Courthouse. I fix things. Chairs, doors, lights, plumbing. Every day I see people fighting over money, kids, property. I see what happens when someone thinks they can push hard enough to get what they want. Your point? My point is, I know how to fix things. I know how to document things. And I know exactly how many city permits your flagship development needed to pour concrete after hours last month. Silence on the line. That's public record, I continued. Noise ordinances, safety inspections, traffic control permits, All public, all logged, all searchable. Are you threatening me? I'm informing you. Same way you're informing me about reputation and image. We all have things that matter, Mr. Regal. You worry about yours, I'll worry about mine. I hung up. The apartment felt quiet again. Too quiet. I turned on the TV just for noise. Some local news program talking about weather and traffic. Portland in November. Cold and getting colder. My phone buzzed. Text message from Evan. Dad, please. Can we talk? Just us. No Cara, no lawyers, just father and son. I looked at the message for a long time. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. I could say yes. We could meet somewhere neutral, hash this out, try to find some middle ground. Instead, I typed back, I filed the protection order this morning. You have 48 hours to respond. After that, the court decides. Send. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then nothing. I turned off the phone and went to bed. The stairwell scramble happened on a rainy Tuesday night at 11:47 p.m. I was doing rounds, standard procedure. Check the locks, check the lights, make sure nobody left the garage door propped open again. The building was quiet. Most people were asleep. Third shift was my shift. I liked it that way. Fewer questions, fewer interruptions, just me and the work. I was on the 4th floor landing when I heard the door below me open. Footsteps. Heavy, deliberate, coming up. I looked over the railing. Dax, Cara's security consultant, the guy who'd tried to escort me out of the wedding. He was climbing the stairs 2 at a time, looking up, looking for me. I backed away from the railing and pulled out my phone. Speed dial. Moira answered on the first ring. It's midnight, Lee. Dax is in the building. The bouncer? How'd he get in? Don't know, he's coming up the stairs. 4th floor. Do you have your keys? Yes. Good. Get to a camera. Make sure everything you do is on video. I'm calling the cops now. I hung up and moved fast. Not running. Running gets you hurt at my age, but fast enough. The building had cameras at every landing. Fire code. The HOA had installed them after a break-in 2 years ago. I knew where every single one was because I'd helped mount them. 5th floor landing. Camera in the upper right corner. I stopped directly under it and waited. Dax came around the corner 30 seconds later. He saw me and smiled. Mr. Marden, we need to talk. No, we don't. Cara sent me to retrieve some property. Keys. She says they belong to her. They don't. That's between you and her. I'm just here to pick them up. He took a step forward. Make this easy. Can't do that. Then I'll make it easy for you. He moved fast for a big guy, grabbed for my arm. I stepped back, used the railing for balance, and kicked the wedge-shaped doorstop I'd been carrying into position under the fire door. It jammed. The door wouldn't close properly now. Alarm would trip if he tried to force it. Don't, I said. He tried anyway. Grabbed the door handle, yanked. The alarm screamed, high-pitched, loud enough to wake everyone on the floor. Perfect. Dax let go of the door and lunged for me again. This time he connected. Grabbed my shoulder, spun me around. My back hit the wall. His hand went for my pocket where I kept my keys. I brought my elbow up. Not hard, just enough. Caught him under the chin. He stumbled back. Stay down, I said. He didn't. Came at me again, angry now. I pivoted, used his momentum against him, let him run past me into the fire door. The alarm shrieked louder. Lights started flashing. Doors opened up and down the hallway. Mrs. Patel, Mr. Chen, a couple from 5C whose names I never remembered. Everyone staring, phones coming out. He's trying to rob me, I said loudly, clearly, for the cameras and the witnesses. I don't know who he is. He forced his way in and attacked me in the stairwell. Dax straightened up, looked at the crowd, looked at the phones recording. His face went red. That's not what this is. Then what is it? I asked. He didn't answer, just turned and ran down the stairs. I heard the lobby door slam, then silence except for the alarm still wailing. Mister, the building went quiet. Lee, you okay? Mrs. Patel asked. Fine, just shaken up. I got it on video, said the guy from 5C. Whole thing. Want me to send it to you? Send it to the police. They're on the way. They arrived 6 minutes later. 2 officers, young and professional. Took statements, looked at the video, checked my shoulder where Dax had grabbed me, bruising already forming. You know this guy? One of them asked. Works for my daughter-in-law, security consultant. He have a reason to be here? No, she's under a temporary protection order. Can't come within 300 feet of me or my residence. The officer's eyebrows went up. She sent someone to confront you? Apparently. They looked at each other. The kind of look cops share when they know exactly how this is going to end. We'll file a report, the first officer said. If he shows up again, call immediately. Don't engage. Just call. I will. They left. The hallway crowd dispersed. I went back to my apartment and locked the door, sat down at the kitchen table. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from adrenaline. It had been a long time since I'd been in an actual fight, even one that barely qualified. My phone rang. Moira. You alive? Alive. Good. Video's already on the neighborhood watch page. 42 shares in 10 minutes. Kara's going to love that. That was the point. You're mean when you want to be, Lee. I learned from the best. Damn right you did. Get some sleep. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. She hung up. I made myself tea. Something Maureen used to do when I came home from rough jobs, too wired to sleep. The ritual helped. Boil water, steep bag, add honey, sit and breathe. Outside, rain hammered the windows. November in Maine. Winter knocking. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. You think you're clever. You're just a bitter old man in the way. This doesn't end well for you. I saved the message. Screenshot. Backup. Evidence. Then I typed back, paper cuts deep. Send. The permit office at City Hall smelled like old files and frustration. I stood at the counter on Thursday morning, waiting for the clerk to pull records. Public records. Anyone could request them. I just needed the addresses and dates. Evan Marden, I said. Project manager. I need permits pulled for the Harbour View development. Concrete pours, noise variances, after-hours work authorizations. The clerk looked at me over her reading glasses. You from the company? I'm his father. That makes this awkward. Makes it public record. She couldn't argue with that. 20 minutes later, I had copies. 4 permits, 3 violations logged by neighbors, 2 warnings from the noise abatement office. Nothing criminal, nothing serious. Just facts, the kind that make investors nervous when they show up in local news. I took the papers and walked to the coffee shop across the street, ordered black coffee and sat by the window, waited. Evan showed up at 9:15. He saw me through the glass, hesitated, then came inside. Dad. Sit. He sat. Looked at the folder on the table between us. What's that? Your work. Harbour View. Nice project. It is. Was. Until all this started. That's not my fault. Isn't it? He leaned forward. You filed a restraining order against my wife. You got her banned from your building. You had Dax arrested. Dax wasn't arrested, he was questioned. There's a difference. Same result. Kara's business is dying. She lost a client yesterday. Big client. Wedding venue called and cancelled because they said they couldn't guarantee she wouldn't cause a scene. She slapped me at a wedding venue. That seems relevant. She made a mistake. People make mistakes. Some mistakes cost more than others. Evan rubbed his face. He looked tired. The kind of tired that comes from not sleeping, not from work. What do you want, Dad? Just tell me. We'll do it. Whatever it is. I want the truth. About what? The keys. The apartment. Why Kara needs it so badly, she was willing to humiliate both of us in public. Silence. Long enough that I knew I was right. There was something. Tell me, I said. He looked out in the window, watched people walking past, normal people living normal lives. Finally, he said, "It's collateral." For what? Kara's parents loaned us money. Her boutique, the one she's been planning. High-end event planning, exclusive clients, the whole thing. How much money? 150,000. I whistled. That's a lot of trust. They wanted collateral. Real collateral. Not promises. And you gave them what? My inheritance. Future inheritance. The apartment. They drew up a contract. If the business fails and we can't pay back the loan, they get the apartment. Or its value, whichever is higher. That's not legal. The apartment's mine. Not if you die. Then it's mine. And then it's theirs. I sat back. The coffee tasted like ash. You signed a contract using property you don't own. Not yet, but I will. Did Kara suggest this? Her parents did. She just agreed. And you went along with it. Dad, you don't understand the pressure. Kara's family has money, connections. They can open doors. All we needed was a little security to show we were serious. So you sold me out. I didn't sell anyone out. You're fine. You're healthy. This is just paperwork, insurance. Insurance against what? Me living too long. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Evan. None of it. I stood up. The chair scraped loud against the floor. You want to know what I'm going to do? I'm not sending you to prison. I'm not breaking up your marriage. I'm going to do worse. What? I'm going to make you watch what you chose. I left him sitting there, walked out into the cold morning. My phone rang before I got to my truck. Tomas Regal, Evan's boss. Mr. Marden, we need to talk about your son. Talk. There's been an incident, some bad press about the company, noise complaints, permit questions. It's affecting our relationship with investors. That's unfortunate. It's more than unfortunate. It's actionable. I'm benching Evan, reassigning him to night shift oversight. No client contact, no public face, until this situation with his wife resolves. That's your call. It's the only call I have. And Mr. Marden, if this gets worse, if there's more scandal, I'll have no choice but to terminate him. I understand. Do you? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're burning your own son's life down. He lit the match, I said. I'm just not putting out the fire. I hung up, got in my truck, drove back to the courthouse. I had work to do, floors to mop, lights to check, a normal day of normal tasks, while my son's world collapsed in slow motion. My phone buzzed. Text from Kara. You're destroying him. Is that what you want? To watch your own son fail? I didn't respond, just saved the message and kept driving. The amusement pier was closed for the season. Joyland. Painted signs, rusted rides, everything shuttered until spring. The kind of place that looked cheerful in summer and haunted in November. Kara was there on Saturday morning with a photographer, staging a comeback shoot. I knew because Moira had sent me the Instagram post. From hurt to healed, my journey back to light. Complete with hashtags and a branded filter. I drove down and parked in the public lot. Walked out onto the pier. Wind cut across the water sharp and mean. Kara saw me coming. You're not welcome here. Public property, I said. Anyone can be here. This is a private shoot. On a public pier. The photographer looked uncomfortable. Young guy, maybe 25, expensive camera. Ma'am, if there's a problem... There's no problem, Kara said. She turned to me. What do you want, Lee? Just watching. Interested in seeing how this plays out. She smiled. That professional smile. You think you've won something. You haven't. All you've done is make yourself look petty. Maybe. Definitely. Everyone knows you're doing this out of spite. You're angry about Evan's marriage. You can't control him anymore, so you're trying to destroy me instead. That's one interpretation. It's the right interpretation, and people are starting to see it. I pulled out my phone. Speed dial. 2 rings. Lee? Captain O'Leary's voice sounded thin. Bad day. Lots of bad days lately. Captain, you busy? Never too busy for you. I'm at the old Joyland Pier. Wondered if you'd like to take a walk. A pause. Then understanding. I'll be there in 15. I hung up. Kara was staring at me. What did you just do? Called a friend. Lee, don't. Don't what? Whatever you're planning. I'm not planning anything. Just inviting an old friend to enjoy public property. The photographer was packing up. Smart kid. He could sense the storm coming. I'm going to go, he said. We can reschedule. No. Kara grabbed his arm. We're finishing this. I need these shots. He pulled away gently. I really think we should go. Dax appeared from around the corner. Of course. Kara's security blanket. Problem? No problem, I said. Just waiting for someone. You need to leave. Public pier. I'm asking nicely. That's not asking. That's posturing. He took a step forward. I didn't move. Just held up my phone, camera pointing at him. Smile for the neighbors, I said. They love watching you work. He stopped. Looked at the phone. Looked at Kara. He's recording, Dax said. So, Kara said, let him. It just proves he's obsessed with us. Captain O'Leary arrived in an old Buick, driven by someone I didn't recognize. The car pulled up at the pier entrance. O'Leary got out slowly, oxygen concentrator rattling behind him. He saw me and smiled. Lee. Captain. We shook hands. He looked at Kara. Something passed across his face. Recognition, memory, maybe sadness. Kara Whitfield, haven't seen you in years. Captain O'Leary. Her voice was different, softer, real for once. It's good to see you. Wish I could say the same. The warmth drained from her face. Excuse me. I watched the video, wedding, the slap. I saw what you did to this man. That was a misunderstanding. Was it? Because I remember a girl I carried out of a burning school bus. Scared, hurt, grateful. I remember thinking, this girl's going to do good things. She's going to make this city proud. I have, Kara said. I've built a business. I've helped people. I've given back. By striking an old man at a wedding. By sending thugs to intimidate him in his own home. That's giving back. Her face went red. You don't understand the situation. I understand you forgot where you came from. I understand you think being saved gives you license to hurt other people. A reporter appeared from somewhere. Local news. Must have been tipped off. Camera up. Microphone hot. Captain O'Leary, can I get a statement? O'Leary looked at the camera. At me. At Kara. A city stood up for this girl, he said into the microphone. Every firefighter, every cop, every citizen who prayed for her and sent flowers. We all stood up, and now she strikes a good man, threatens him, uses her story, our story, as a shield while she hurts people. Captain, I'm not finished. His voice was stronger now, the voice that had commanded fire scenes and saved lives. This man built furniture for veterans. He donates his time. He fixes things for free. He's more worthy of this city's respect than someone who thinks being saved once gives them permission to be cruel forever. The camera swung to Kara. She opened her mouth, closed it. Nothing came out. Dax tried to grab my phone. I saw it coming, turned, let him overreach. He stumbled forward. I stepped aside. He crashed into one of the old turnstiles, hard enough to ring. You saw that, I called to the camera. To the reporter. Unprovoked, I was standing still. The reporter was filming. The camera operator was filming. O'Leary was watching. Witnesses everywhere. Dax got up, angry. Stupid angry. Came at me again. This time I was ready. Pulled a zip tie from my tool belt. Old carpenter trick. He grabbed for me. I looped it around his ankle and the railing support, pulled tight. He went down. Not hard, not injured, just down, tangled, furious. "You're going to regret that," he said. "Probably, but not today." Kara was screaming at the reporter. "Turn that off. Turn it off right now." "Public space, ma'am. Public interest." "This is harassment." "This is news." My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Mr. Marden, this is Victoria Chen from Pinnacle Events. I'm calling to inform you that we've cancelled our contract with Whitfield Marden Events. The recent publicity has made it impossible for us to maintain our professional relationship. You should probably tell Kara that, not me. We tried. She's not answering. She's busy right now. I'm sure. Please pass along the message." She hung up. I looked at Kara. "Pinnacle Events cancelled." Her face went white. "What?" "Big client, right? Weddings, corporate events. Heard they were your biggest account." "You called them." "I didn't call anyone. They called me. Apparently your business number wasn't working." She pulled out her phone. Dialed. Waited. Her hand was shaking. "Victoria, it's Kara. I just heard. Please, we can work this out. I understand, but... No, listen. Victoria. Victoria." She lowered the phone. Looked at me. At O'Leary. At the reporter still filming. "This is your fault," she said. "No," I said. "This is yours." I walked away. O'Leary walked with me, slowly, the oxygen concentrator rattling. We left Kara standing on the pier in the wind, her photographer gone, her security consultant tied to a railing, her biggest client vanished. "That was harsh," O'Leary said. "It needed to be." "You know this isn't over." "I know." He stopped walking, looked out at the water. "Lee, you're a good man. Better than most. But be careful. People like her, when they're cornered, they do desperate things. I'm counting on it. That's what worries me." The hearing room at City Hall was exactly as depressing as expected. Fluorescent lights, cheap paneling, folding tables, the kind of government-issue furniture that made you feel guilty even if you'd done nothing wrong. I sat at one table. Kara and Evan sat at the other. Between us, a hearing officer named Patricia Mills, who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else. "This is an administrative hearing regarding noise complaints, permit violations, and unauthorized commercial activity at 847 Harbour Street," Mills said. "Building HOA versus Whitfield Marden Events. Mr. Marden is the complainant. Ms. Whitfield Marden is the respondent." "This is ridiculous," Kara said. "He's my father-in-law. This is personal." "The complaints are public record," Mills said. "Filed by multiple residents over the course of 6 months. Would you like to see them?" She spread out papers. 11 complaints, noise during filming, unauthorized use of common areas, equipment blocking fire exits, vendors parking in resident spaces. "These aren't all about me," Kara said. "They're all about activities associated with your business," Mills said. "That makes you responsible." I had permission. "From who?" "From Evan. He's a resident." "He's not anymore," I said. "He moved out 4 months ago." Mills looked at Evan. "Is that correct?" "I still have access," Evan said. "My name's on the lease." "Your father's lease," Mills corrected. "As an occupant, not a leaseholder. You don't have authority to grant permission for commercial activity." "This is a witch hunt," Kara said. Her voice was rising. "Mistake. Never lose control in a hearing. Ms. Whitfield Marden, I'm going to need you to lower your voice." "Why? So you can pretend this is legitimate? This is harassment, pure and simple. If you continue to disrupt these proceedings, I'll have no choice but to issue a finding in absentia." "You wouldn't dare." Mills looked at her. No expression. Just looked. "Try me." Silence. I pulled out my folder. Organized. Tabbed. Everything labeled. Moira had helped me prepare. She'd been in enough hearings to know what mattered. "I have building security footage," I said. "Time-stamped. shows Ms. Whitfield Marden's crew blocking the main entrance for 3 hours on August 14th. Fire code violation. Mills took the folder. Flipped through. This is well documented. I have photos of equipment left in stairwells, lighting stands, backdrop frames, electrical cords taped across walkways. More pages. Mills was making notes. I have noise complaints filed with 311. After hours filming, 10 p.m. on September 3rd. Resident statements attached. This is all circumstantial, Evan said. It's all factual, I said. Dates, times, witnesses, video evidence, nothing circumstantial about it. Mills kept reading. The room was quiet, except for pages turning. Finally, she looked up. Ms. Whitfield Marden, do you have a permit for commercial activity in a residential building? I don't need one. It's not commercial. It's content creation. Content creation for a business? It's creative expression. That you monetize. Kara didn't answer. I'm going to issue findings, Mills said. $500 fine per incident. That's 11 incidents. Total of $5,500. Additionally, a cease and desist order prohibiting any further commercial activity at the address without proper permitting, and a note on record regarding elder abuse concerns. Elder abuse? Kara stood up. Are you joking? I'm not. The video evidence shows you striking the complainant at a public event. That's assault. And given the context of these proceedings, attempting to gain access to his residence through intimidation, there's enough to note concerns for follow-up by Adult Protective Services. This is insane. This is procedure. If you want to appeal, you can file within 30 days. Oh, I'll appeal. Please do. In the meantime, the orders stand. Fines must be paid within 60 days, or your business license will be suspended pending collection. Mills gathered her papers. We're done here. She walked out. Kara grabbed her phone, already dialing. Probably her lawyer. Probably furious. Evan just sat there, staring at the table. I packed up my folder. Nice and neat, everything back in its place. Dad, Evan said quietly. Don't. Why? What did she ever do to you? I looked at him. Really looked. My son. 28 years old. Smart. Capable. Spineless where it mattered. She slapped me. In front of 200 people, including your wife's hero. And you said nothing. Not a word. Not then. Not after. Just silence. I didn't know what to say. How about no? How about stop? How about my father doesn't deserve that? It's complicated. It's not complicated. It's simple. You chose her over me, over your mother's memory, over everything I taught you about standing up for what's right. I chose my marriage. You chose easy. There's a difference. I walked out. Behind me, I heard Kara's voice, sharp and cutting, tearing into Evan, blaming him for not defending her better, for not controlling me, for being weak. For once, she was right about something. My phone buzzed. Text from Kara. You win. Happy? I'm filing a civil suit, defamation, interference with business, harassment. We'll take the apartment, your pension, everything. I texted back. Good luck with that. She wasn't going to win. The suit was weak. Everything I'd done was legal, documented, witnessed. But she'd try anyway because that's what people like her did when they ran out of other options. They sued. The ferry to Peaks Island ran twice a day in November, morning and evening. The evening run was quiet, mostly locals, a few workers heading home after shifts in the city. Kara was on the 6 p.m. departure. I knew because I'd seen her Instagram story. Island retreat to reset and refocus. Picture of her bags. Picture of the ferry dock. Hashtag blessed. I bought a ticket and boarded. The weather was turning. Nor'easter coming in from the coast. Wind already picking up, sky grey and mean. The ferry rocked hard as we pulled away from the dock. Most passengers stayed inside. Warm, dry, smart. I went out on the deck. Kara was there, standing by the rail, phone in hand. taking selfies against the stormy background. She saw me and her face went cold. Are you following me? Public ferry. This is harassment. This is transportation. You want to call someone about it, be my guest. She put her phone away, turned to face me properly. We were alone on the deck, just us and the wind and the water. What do you want, Lee? Curious what you're running to. I'm not running, I'm taking a break. From what? From you. From this. From everything. Must be nice. Taking breaks. You wouldn't understand. You've never built anything, just maintained other people's work. I built a family, built a life, built furniture for people who needed it, built trust with people who mattered. What have you built? A business, a brand, a future. On what foundation? Talent, hard work, vision. Contracts you can't honor, debts you can't pay, leverage you don't have. Her expression shifted, guard coming up. I don't know what you're talking about. The apartment, the collateral, the loan from your parents. How do you know about that? Evan told me, finally, after I pushed hard enough. That's private. It was private, now it's relevant. I leaned against the rail. The ferry was really rocking now, waves hitting the hull hard. You wanted my keys because you thought they'd give you power, control, insurance. We needed security. You needed my property. There's a difference. It's going to be Evan's property someday. Maybe. Maybe not. What's that mean? Means I made some changes. 3 years ago, after Maureen died. Put the apartment in a trust. Revocable living trust to the Portland Veterans Housing Fund. Her face went white. You can't do that. Already done. Filed. Recorded. Public record. But Evan's your son, you can't just cut him out. I didn't cut him out. I made a choice. When I die, the apartment goes to the fund. Sold. The money helps veterans find housing. Maureen would have liked that. She always said property should help people, not just sit there. That's not fair. Fair is a word people use when they don't get what they want. The ferry lurched. Big wave. Cara stumbled. I grabbed the rail tighter. She recovered, moved along the deck toward the cabin door. This doesn't change anything, she said. We're still suing. Suit's weak, you know it. Your lawyer knows it. We'll see. She turned. Her heel caught on a wet spot. She slipped. Not badly, just enough. Fell against the rail. I reached out automatically. Old reflex. Caught her wrist. Kept her from going over. For a second, we both froze. My hand on her wrist. Her eyes wide. Then she yanked free. Don't touch me. Wasn't trying to hurt you. Was trying to help. I don't need your help. Everyone needs help eventually. She turned and walked inside. Fast. I stayed on deck. The wind was really howling now. Ferry captain came on the intercom. Said we were docking in 10 minutes. Advised everyone to stay seated. I pulled out my phone. Checked messages. One from Thomas Regal. Mr. Marden, this is your final warning. Evan has been reassigned to night shift labor pending resolution of family issues. If there is any further incident involving his wife, your family, or this company's reputation, I will terminate him immediately. Please govern yourself accordingly. I saved the message. Then another text came through. From Kara. I'll burn the apartment down before I let you in. I took a screenshot, backed it up, sent a copy to Judge Harrow with a simple note. For the file. She responded immediately. Received. This is getting dangerous. Be careful. The ferry docked. People filed off. I waited until everyone else was gone, then walked down the ramp. Cara was nowhere in sight. Good. I didn't want to see her anyway. I took the return ferry back to Portland. The storm was hitting hard now. Rain, wind, waves. The captain said something about this being the last run tonight. Too dangerous to go out again until morning. My phone rang. Evan. Dad, what did you say to Cara? The truth. She's hysterical, threatening to do something crazy. Then stop her. I can't. She won't listen. Not my problem. Dad, please, she's talking about burning down the apartment. She sent you that text. I saw it. That's arson. She'll go to jail. She won't do it. How do you know? Because she's not stupid. She's desperate. There's a difference. Stupid people act. Desperate people threaten. What if you're wrong? Then I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I hung up. The ferry pulled into Portland Harbor. The water was black. The city lights reflected off the waves like scattered stars. I got off and walked to my truck, drove home. The building was quiet. I took the elevator up, checked my apartment. Everything normal. No smoke, no fire, no drama, just quiet. I made dinner, sat down, ate alone. My phone buzzed. Email from the court. Notice of civil filing. Kara had made it official. Defamation, interference, harassment, $500,000 in damages. I read through it. Weak arguments, no real evidence. Just accusations and anger wrapped in legal language. I forwarded it to Judge Harrow. She called 5 minutes later. This is garbage, she said. I know. But you still need to respond. You'll need a lawyer. Can't afford one. Then file pro se. Represent yourself. I can help you with the paperwork. You'd do that? Lee, this suit is punitive. She's trying to bleed you dry through legal fees. Don't let her. How do I fight it? With the truth. Everything you've done is legal, documented, witnessed. Just lay it out. Clearly, chronologically. Let the facts speak. And if that's not enough, then we escalate. But it won't come to that. Trust me. I hope she was right. I looked at the ring in my hand, thought about Maureen, about the life we'd built, about the son we'd raised, about everything we'd hoped he'd become. No, I said, but it's done. The Harbour Lights 5K for retired firefighters happened every November. Rain or shine. This year it was both. Rain in the morning, sunshine by noon. Portland weather at its most indecisive. I registered at the last minute. Not to run, to walk. 58 years old with bad knees didn't leave many options. But I could walk. Slowly. With purpose. The route started at the Eastern Promenade, wound through downtown, ended at the harbour where they'd set up a stage for the award ceremony. 500 people signed up, most of them actual runners. A few walkers like me, old, stubborn, determined to cross the line. Captain O'Leary was the guest of honour. Too sick to run, but present. They'd set up a chair for him on stage. Oxygen, blanket, the works. He looked smaller than last time I'd seen him. Frailer, but his eyes were still sharp. I finished the walk in just under 2 hours. Nobody cared. This wasn't about speed. The ceremony started at 1. Awards for top finishers. Speeches thanking sponsors. Then the main event. O'Leary stood up, slow but steady, and took the microphone. I'm not going to be long, he said. I don't have long. Not in general. But today I want to talk about something that matters. The crowd went quiet. This city saved a girl 20 years ago. Some of you were there. Some of you remember. Bus fire. School kids. We got them all out. Every single one. He paused. Breathed. The oxygen concentrator hummed. That girl grew up. Built a life. Used that story. And somewhere along the way she forgot what it meant. She forgot that being saved isn't a license. It's a responsibility. He looked out at the crowd. Found me. Nodded. Lee Marden is here today. Some of you know him. Courthouse maintenance. Veterans woodworking program. Good man. Better than most. That girl, now a woman, struck him, hurt him, used her story as a weapon. A murmur went through the crowd. I'm not here to shame anyone, O'Leary continued, but I am here to remind you that we save people so they can do better. Be better. And when they don't, when they use what we gave them to hurt others, we have to say something. He held up something. Small. Gold. I recognized it from 50 yards away. My wife's ring. Lee gave me this, O'Leary said. It belonged to his wife. Good woman, gone too soon. He's donating it to our auction today, selling it so we can help more people. That's character. That's what saving someone should inspire. The crowd applauded. I felt my face go hot. Then Kara appeared at the side of the stage. No invitation, no announcement, just there, climbing the stairs, taking the stage. O'Leary saw her, stepped back. She reached for the microphone. The crowd went silent. Different kind of silent. Tense. Waiting. Captain O'Leary saved my life, Kara said into the mic. 20 years ago. I've built everything on that foundation. My business, my brand, my identity. She paused, looked out at the crowd, found me. I've also made mistakes. Big ones. I hurt someone who didn't deserve it. I used my story as a shield instead of an inspiration. Her voice cracked. Real crack, not performance. I slapped Lee Marden at my wedding, in front of 200 people, because he wouldn't give me something I had no right to demand. And I've spent the last month trying to justify it, trying to make myself the victim. She looked at O'Leary. I'm sorry. To you, to this city, to everyone who stood up for me. I wasted what you gave me. The microphone stand wobbled. She grabbed for it, missed, started to fall. I moved without thinking. Up the stairs, across the stage, caught the stand before it toppled, steadied it. Our hands touched on the metal. She looked at me. Thank you. You're welcome. I let go and stepped back, gave her the stage. She deserved to finish. I'm withdrawing from public life, Kara said into the mic. My business is closing. I'll be working to pay back debts and make amends. And I'll be doing it quietly. No posts, no brand, no story. She set down the microphone and walked off stage. The crowd didn't applaud, didn't boo, just watched. Let her go. O'Leary took the mic again. Now, let's auction this ring and raise some money. The bidding started, went higher than I expected. 2,000, 3, 5. Finally sold for 7,500 to a couple who said they'd melt it down and make medals for the next 5K. Maureen would have liked that. I walked down to the harbour after the ceremony, sat on a bench, watched the water. Evan found me there an hour later. Dad, yeah, can I sit? It's a public bench. He sat. We didn't talk for a long time, just watched the boats, the gulls, the sky starting to turn orange with sunset. I'm moving out, Evan said finally, from Kara's place. Mr. Regal said I can have my old job back if I start over. Night shift to day shift, clean slate. That's good. Kara's moving back to her parents, out of state, Massachusetts, starting over too. That's probably smart. Dad, I know I messed up. I know I chose wrong. I just want you to know that I'm sorry. I didn't answer. Didn't know what to say. Sorry didn't fix it. Sorry didn't change what happened. But it was something. I loved your mother, Evan said. I love you. I just got confused, lost. Kara made everything seem so clear, so easy, and I forgot what actually mattered. What matters now? Doing better, being better, earning back your trust. That'll take time. I know. A lot of time. I know. We sat there until the sun went down, until the harbour lights came on, until it was too cold to stay. Finally, Evan stood up. I should go. Yeah. Can I call you? Maybe next week. See if you want to get coffee or something. I looked at him. My son. Still young, still capable of change. Maybe. Maybe, I said. He nodded, walked away. I watched him go, watched until he disappeared into the crowd. Then I stood up and walked home. The apartment was quiet, empty, but not in a bad way. Just quiet. I made dinner, sat at the table, put Maureen's picture there like I always did. The ring was gone, melted into metals, but she was still there. I did it, I said to the picture. I don't know if it was right, but I did it. She didn't answer. Pictures don't, but I knew what she'd say. that I'd done what needed doing, that standing up for yourself wasn't the same as tearing others down, that sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing were the same thing. I finished dinner, washed the dishes, turned off the lights. Tomorrow I'd go back to work, fix things, mop floors, check lights, live my life, the boring, ordinary, decent life I'd built. And that was enough. The ring glittered in O'Leary's palm like a siren light, and when the auctioneer's gavel fell, I finally heard what I'd been waiting for all along, nothing from my son at all,